welcome back to BHookedCrochet.com. I'm your host Brittany, and in this tutorial I'm going to demonstrate how to make the magic ring using the double crochet stitch. For this tutorial you're going to need any type of yarn. I'm going to be using a worsted weight and a size 5.5mm crochet hook, but you can use any size hook and any size yarn that your pattern calls for.
To begin the magic ring, we're going to do something that's very similar to how we do our slip knot. We're just going to take the two fingers of our non-dominant hand and we're going to take the working yarn. Now I've got the tail end on this side and then this is the working yarn over here, and I'm going to just put it in between my middle finger and my ring finger coming out the back side. Okay, and we just want to wrap this around those two fingers 2 times coming towards us. And then you want to take your thumb and just secure that tail right here to your index finger. Now what we have here is the working yarn is coming out the back. Okay, so the working yarn is now in between these two fingers and we're just going to keep it there. What we need to do at this point is take our hook and we're going to insert it under both of the loops that's on our fingers. And then we just want to grab that back strand and pull it under that front strand and then leave it on your hook. Now here's where the awkward part comes in. We need to access some of our working yarn, but it's kind of in an awkward position. And so what I like to do is just raise up my ring finger and my pinky that's holding the working yarn back here as high as I can get it, and then I'll just maybe turn my hook hand. And the objective here is to make a chain. So I'm going to grab that working yarn and I'm going to pull it through the loop that was on my hook. And that's actually just the method of securing the magic ring. So that doesn't actually count as a chain. Now when working in double crochets, we're still going to use the same method of chaining 3. So we again need to just grab that working yarn and that's our first chain, our second chain, and then our third chain. And what I like to do from here is take my hook hand and grab onto this junction right here where we've got the chain coming out of the magic ring. And I hold on to that and then I slide my fingers out of there, and then I like to pick up my yarn in my hand as if I were crocheting normally, because it's much easier to access your working yarn from this position than it was the other position. Now this tail coming out here is very important. This is the piece that's going to make our magic ring work. And so we want to make sure that we always keep it in this forward position coming towards us. So what I like to do is, again, I'll put a couple of my fingers into this hole just to keep it open and more accessible for me to work into. And I'm going to make sure that tail is laying over the front. And since we're working in double crochets for this example, I'm going to go ahead and create my first double crochet. Now it's going to be super awkward and the magic ring takes a lot of practice, but it's definitely one of those techniques that's worth it. For this little swatch, we're going to put 8 double crochet into the center of our ring. And the more stitches we get, the easier it's going to become. You still want to sort of rotate the circle, just like when we did the chain method. And basically, we have our ring, well, it's going to be much bigger than what we actually need to make our 8 double crochet. So we're counting that chain 3 as a stitch. So this is my 7th double crochet, and now I'm making my 8th. Okay, and now here's where the cool part comes in. I'm just going to go ahead and drop my working yarn. I don't need that right now anymore. And I'm going to hold on to the magic ring. And I'm going to take the tail end that I was certain that I worked over, and I'm just going to pull it. And as you can see, it's going to fasten up and it's going to create a ring. Now, you want to pull pretty tight on this to make your ring close up all the way. And what you would do from here, depending on what your pattern calls for, you might be working in a spiral, or you're probably more than likely going to be joining with a slip stitch to that third chain. So you just want to find your chain 3, and you're going to insert your hook into the chain, and then you're going to slip stitch to fasten it off.